Hey Tubesters, so I wanted to share with you this, I guess I call it just like to counter depression, or a witch purse specifically to counter depression, and I wanted to share it with you. Now I'm not actually making it on video, because I don't need it, but I had one that I wanted to release, and so I decided that I would show you how to make it, even though I'm not making it with you. I don't have any specific words of enchantment. I kind of just let that be as it's needed. And but this is all that you need. Well, technically, these two are optional. This is really all that you need. And, oops. You just make yourself a bag. Is it still recording? Okay. So, you just make yourself a bag, and this is just some twine that I tied, and this is muslin that I sewed up into a pouch. Now, I reused this one because it has the rune on it, and so this is pretty much how you sew it up, and you trim the corners to kind of help the folding, like the inversion of the fold. So you would cut your piece of fabric, fold it in half, and sew it up. Well, you'd sew up the sides first, then you would fold over a little piece and put this yarn or string around it. And if you wanted to do a double, then you would just put it on the opposite sides. And then you would fold it over and slowly sew that up. And do the same thing on the other side. And then you just flip it inside out, or I guess right side in, really. And then you get yourself a little bag. And it works. You just pull the things like that, and you get your little drawstring, and then you just pull from the sides like that, and then you can open it a little more through the opening. I hope you guys can see this. I have the camera facing me, or facing this, so I don't really know how well I'm in frame. But you probably can't see it too well, but there's actually it's called a bind rune, because it's multiple runes put together. And I've done it in yellow colored pencil for that joyful emotion. Now, this is what the rune looks like, and I call it Wounsothurka. And I just kind of named these bind runes just to kind of make it a little easier, and I pretty much use like the first series of letters, and I just kind of mash it together. And I did this with another one, I just don't remember what it is right now. And so these are the runes: Wunyo, Soilo, Thorisals, and Kenos. And it looks like that, and then you just kind of enchant the bind runes so that way they work together as a whole. I found that's actually kind of important to enchant it. If you want, I can share with you at some point. I don't know if I'll be able to do that before I leave for boot camp, but I'll definitely, upon coming back, make a video sharing, if you want me to, that is, how I enchant my bind runes. So that's what that is. And then here, the only two other things you need are some type of crystal and an herb. And I happen, because it grows in the area, I collect the chokeberry, and this is dried, but this is kind of what it looks like. It's really nothing really to compare it to. I mean, the closest thing would be a blueberry, but honestly, blueberries are blue and this is black, so it's kind of hard to really compare it to something if you don't know what it looks like or whatever. And this is a lepidolite. Lepidolite's really good for emotional well-being and stability, and chokeberry is good for depression, and it kind of like, because it's black, I feel it absorbs the depression. A lot of people associate black with banishment, so either way, I think it would still work for you. If you don't have chokeberry, I have some substitutions, also substitutions for the crystal. So you can always use blueberry. Blueberry is really good for antidepressant. Even eating blueberries is actually good for antidepressant. And you could also use black peppercorn. I would suggest getting the whole black peppercorn. Now it's relatively easy to get at your grocery stores. If not, you can just get the blueberries. I would suggest chokeberry first, then blueberry, then black peppercorn. And the reason why is because this spell was devised that the chokeberry, in particular, would dry out, and as it's drying out, it's trapping in that depression. So that's why I suggest blueberries over black peppercorn, because it's going to have a more similar process, I guess, is the best way to explain it. And so for lepidolite, I would suggest blue kyanite first. Actually, either one would be really good. Blue kyanite or fuchsite, Fuchsite. Both are really good for healing and emotional well-being in particular. Like fuchsite is really good for healing the healer, and kind of like almost regenerating yourself. And blue kyanite's really good for your emotions and kind of like recalibrating yourself, kind of like lepidolite. Side note for women, lepidolite's also really good for menopause or perimenopause or menstruation or even like child labor. So like all of the reproductive womanly functions, I guess. I was about to say mishaps, but I kind of thought that would be a little rude, so I decided not to. Anyway, these are some optional oomphlers, as I like to call them. They can give oomph to your spell. This is marjoram, and that's how it's spelled. And I always like to get organic herbs. But this is a really good, it's a Venus herb, and it's really good for love and... Are you still recording? Oh, good. It's really good for love, and it's also helps to kind of deal with like finding your joy when you're not happy. So like kind of dealing with depression and kind of also making you happy at the same time. So it kind of like a lot of herbs will just deal with one side of the event, like banishing the depression. But this one like gets rid of the negative emotion and replenishes it with the happy emotion. So this is a really good one to add. And I know that was a pretty simple explanation, but I'm trying to get this done quickly so I can upload it, because I have another video that I need to film today. Well, I don't need to, but I really want to. And this is orange peel, if you couldn't tell. Orange peel is really good for joy and success and just bringing in that happiness. It's connected to the sun, and as you know, the sun really brings about joyful feelings and giving you that vitamin C and vitamin D, I think. Also, I don't know if oranges give vitamin D, but they definitely give vitamin C. And anyway, it's more the spiritual properties that matter at this point. But you can eat oranges if you're depressed. They do help. Green tea also helps if you're depressed. So, reasons why you would make this bag. Obviously, if you're depressed, but you don't have to be, like, depressed. One of the reasons why I'm sharing this is because of Tiptoe passing. There might be some people who are still dealing with grief, or maybe there's somebody that you know who could benefit from this. Another reason is because we're going into winter, and some people, like myself, kind of go about seasonal depression. Now, I don't think I'm really going to have a lot of time to get seasonally depressed because I'm going to be in boot camp and I'm going to be very busy and active at that point. Also, I can't really carry a spell on the person at that point either. And if I do happen to feel depressed, I will be getting out in January, so it'll still be wintertime and I can just make it again if I need to. Now, that's pretty much it. Now, I did realize that I forgot to share with you some other ingredients. But these are very omittable or changeable as well. And I used 3 potions when I made this. Now, you can drop them in the spell bag. You can anoint the rune, the bind rune with it. You can anoint your crystal. I think I anointed the crystal and the bag with the potions, if I remember correctly. I know I always anoint my crystals with a potion and put my intention in it, so I know that's definitely right, and I'm almost positive I anointed the bag as well. So these are kind of personal potions, so you may or may not have them. Well, you won't have them specifically, but you might have something similar, or at this point you can just use your intuition to kind of decide what you want to use in place of it. So I used a self-confidence potion, a self-love potion, and a witch's brew potion. Now, basically, those first 2 are pretty self-explanatory, but the witch's brew potion is basically, anyone who was following me on my last channel probably may or may not remember that I had a power potion. This is basically substituted for that, and I kind of feel it's basically an all-purpose anointing potion. So if you have something like that, then you can use that in place of the witch's brew potion. Self-love obviously is about love, and if you don't feel that the confidence is necessary, you can omit that one as well. And that's pretty much it, guys. This is your to counter depression witch purse. I hope you find it helpful and useful. I was really hoping that I'd be able to upload other other videos about how to deal with, depression or whatever, right? But it's been really difficult trying to upload videos because I've had a lot of internet problems. Also, it's been hard to film videos because I don't have a lot of time. So, uh, this next video that I'm going to be filming, and hopefully I can get all three of them uploaded today. This next video is actually going to be the last one, and because I just can't. I can't do any more before leaving because I think I'm a little behind, honestly. So if you could send some prayers or energy or intentions of helping me to get through this and get it done. Also, if you could send me some prayers or intentions of how to get through boot camp. Well, not how to, but to help me get through boot camp. It's very much appreciated. Um, if I can, I'm going to try and get the address. So if any of you want to write letters to me or send video suggestions or whatever you want, that's fine. It's very much welcomed. I'm not really going to be getting any mail, so if you guys do it, it's probably going to be the little mail that I will be getting because just because of my family situation right now. Um, but yeah, you guys are my family as I see it. So thank you so much for watching, and abundant and eternal blessings. Mwah.